Hello everyone, and this is What If Deku Had Solo Leveling, Part 4. So, let's continue. Deku, after slaughtering wave after wave of Steel Fang Raikons, he had become stronger. But while he became stronger, the blade that Uraraka gave him became dull and started to break down. Deku, looking down at the sword that helped him become so strong, he thought, "Thanks to you, I became stronger. Thank you, Uraraka." However, just as Deku finished that thought, a new window would have appeared in front of him, saying, "Alarm! You have earned title Wolf Slayer." Seeing this, Deku thought, "A title? Interesting." For more information on what the title does, please look at the screen. With the floor being covered with blood and corpses of Steel Fanged icons, Deku would have walked through them while looking at his inventory, muttering, 34 icons fang, 2 worn daggers, traveler's clothes, and a hearthstone? That's more than I was expecting, but oh well. Deku, extending his hand into the inventory window, he would have pulled out the hearthstone, him thinking, should I be safe and leave, or do I stay? As Deku was softly gripping onto that glowing stone, he compared the pros and cons of leaving and staying in this dungeon. On one hand, if he stays, then he will be able to level up and get stronger, along with maybe get a special item from clearing this dungeon and killing the boss. But on the other hand, if he doesn't leave while he still can, then later on while fighting the boss, he might realize that the boss is a lot stronger than him, and he might get killed. Deku, while thinking of to leave or not to leave, he would have remembered a very important detail, which is that this dungeon key came from a random box, or the random box, meaning the chance of him getting the same key from the random box is very low. So low that it might even cost him and or make him wait for the same key for 10 years. Which is why Deku just shoved the hearthstone back into his inventory. By the way, if you're wondering, the hearthstone is an item that can allow Deku to escape a dungeon that was created by the system. Deku continuing to walk down the path of the dungeon, he would have found himself surrounded by more Steel Fanged icons. Him thinking, are the icons all this dungeon has? Deku gripping harder into his sword, he would have rushed in, slicing and dicing at every single icon. However, as Deku goes deeper and deeper into the dungeon, he found that there are actually more monsters and or monsters other than the icons. Monsters such as Razor Claw Briga, which resembles a Black Panther, along with Black Shadow Razan, which resembles a monkey. While Deku was slaying those monsters endlessly, he started to feel himself getting stronger, and since these monsters kept respawning, unlike normal gates, Deku felt that fighting them seems more like a game, where they have patterns and other things that can be determined. Using this, Deku determined the pattern of the Razor Claw Brigas and the Black Shadow Razans, allowing Deku to kill them more easily and level up at a more efficient rate. And while Deku was getting stronger, he found out that the color of the monster's name changes according to the strength of the monster. White means weak, orange means strong, and red means very strong. Deku, looking at a steel-fanged icon that he just killed, he muttered, "Those steel-fanged icons. Their names were orange from the beginning, and now they're just white. So that means I've gotten stronger, right? Yeah, a lot stronger. But even in my current strength, uh, I'm not sure I can defeat that guy from down there." Deku, while he was muttering that, turned his head to his right and stares down a very foggy staircase, which had a ominous presence coming up from it. Ugh, I'm getting goosebumps. Maybe it's because I've upgraded my sense stats so much, but I can tell that monster down there, it is very strong. No doubt about it. That's definitely the boss. Yep, no doubt. Deku opening his stats window, he continued saying, "Too bad. My level doesn't seem to be rising anymore." By the way, Deku right now is level 15. Him continuing to say, "Also, if I continue to farm those monsters, my sword might not last that long. I will need this to fight the boss, so I guess I should stop farming then." After saying that, Deku would have started to walk down the stairs into the darkness that awaits him. However, while Deku was walking down the stairs, he thought, "Why is it so quiet? And is it me, or is the stairs seems to be a lot longer?" Now, once Deku reached the bottom of the stairs, he found out that the area around him now looks more like a swamp than a station. Suddenly, Deku felt something coming straight towards him to his left. Him having to bring up his sword just in time as that something hits the sword hard, which sent Deku flying across the platform and into a pillar. Deku falling from the pillar and onto the ground, he looked down at his sword only to find that it is broken in half. Deku, not believing what just happened, he stands up while glaring at the giant snake that is in front of him, saying, "Even though I level up a lot, I'm still no match for you. But your name, it is still just orange." With the name of the giant snake being Swamp's Ruler, Blue Poison Fangs Rasaka. "So you're the boss of this place, right?" Deku, spinning his sword backwards and into a reverse grip, just like how you would grab a dagger, he continued saying, "Good. Now I just have to kill you." Deku, running towards the snake and jumping, he starts to think of ways to defeat the snake, and as he lands on top of the snake, and/or the Rasaka, he found out that the scales of the Rasaka are hardened, meaning that swords and/or his sword won't be able to pierce it. As for punches, they won't have any effect either. While Deku is finding a way to solve this problem, the Rasaka would have been annoyed since this human is on top of it. It speeding up and smashing Deku into a pillar. However, Deku in the nick of time would have jumped off the way, him thinking, "I need a strong and fast attack." Just as Deku finished that thought, a section of the Rasaka would have attacked Deku. Deku, this time not being able to react in time, he would have been hit by the attack, which sent Deku flying away. However, this time, instead of hitting a pillar and/or the wall, Deku found himself going and/or being sent flying straight towards the Rasaka's head. With the Rasaka widening its mouth as wide as it can, it would have tried to eat Deku. However, Deku, with his quick thinking, he would have thrown his broken sword straight at the Rasaka's eye, which hit. With the sword having to jam into the Rasaka's eye, the Rasaka would have turned around or turned away, causing Deku to just fall onto the ground. Deku thinking, damn it, I thought I became stronger, but I'm still lacking. Why? How much stronger do I have to become to escape the path of being the weakest? And as Deku was running, dodging, and trying to survive the Rasaka's attack, he would have continued thinking, strength, a pressuring force that squeezes your head, a force that can make you yield, no matter what you are or what you do. Pure strength is all that matters. It will overwhelm you, fill you with fear, fear that can make your knees collapse and toes dig into the ground. Even if you're knowledgeable or wise, in front of strength, they're nothing and can easily be betrayed. I have to get stronger. I came to get stronger. Just then, the tail of the Rasaka would have hit Deku in the back, which sent Deku flying into a wall. With Deku slowly getting back up, he would have said, I have to become even stronger. Just then, a dark blue aura would have started to surround Deku, along with his eyes changing from his usual green to a light blue color. Deku rushing towards the Rasaka, he would have jumped and grabbed onto the broken sword that was inside the Rasaka's eyes, and/or eye. As Deku rips his broken blade out of the Rasaka's eye, he continues to fall down and slices at the Rasaka's underbelly. After he landed, Deku thought, no, not yet. Compare to that priest. Compare to the fear from that time. I am not scared at all. Deku rushing in again, throwing his broken blade at the Rasaka once more, this time to distract it. Deku would have jumped and wrapped around the Rasaka, more specifically, wrapped around the Rasaka's neck. Him basically hugging the Rasaka as hard as he can, he would have yelled, I will defeat this dungeon and become stronger, therefore, die! As Deku pouring every single last drop of strength that he has into both of his arms, he would literally hug the Rasaka to death. Alarm! You leveled up! You leveled up! You leveled up! I guess I did got a bit stronger. Alarm! You have slain Swamp's ruler, Blue Poison Fang's Rasaka. As Deku sits on top of the corpse of the Rasaka, he starts to look at himself, saying, my clothes are ruined. The sword I got from Uraraka is broken. And my body hurts all over. However, at least I did get a better weapon. Rasaka's Fang. A dagger that is made from a fang, not a bone. The attack stat is more than twice Uraraka's sword. And it has bleed and paralysis? Nice. But compared to this, that is a bit awkward to use. Deku looking at an item called Rasaka's Venom. For more information on what those two items does, then look at the screen. With Deku putting Rasaka's Venom into his inventory, a new window would have appeared saying, Alarm! The boss has been slain. The dungeon's interior will revert to normal. Deku, seeing the dungeon around him fading back into a normal station, he would have said, wait, it's over? I thought I could have brought these bodies back and get some money out of it. Sad. Now, after the dungeon reverted back to a normal station, Deku would have walked out of it while holding his broken blade that he got from Uraraka. Whenever Deku reaches the top of the station and or the entrance, it was raining. Him saying, of course it's raining. Why wouldn't it be? Wait, what time is it? Just then, an army man would have walked up to Deku saying, Who are you? How did you come up from there? Didn't you hear the broadcast? Deku, being confused, he would have asked, what happened? Huh? What are you saying? The soldier, noticing Deku's broken blade and his ruined shirt, he would have asked, Could you be a hunter? Yes, that's right, but... sorry, I'll guide you then, Mr. Hunter. This way. Okay. Deku, seeing multiple corpses of monsters while following the soldier, he asked, Did a dungeon break occur? Yes, but don't worry, the nearby monsters have been taken care of. There is only one big monster left. Deku thinking, maybe it's due to my sense stat, but I can feel it, without a doubt. That last monster is the boss. As about half a block away, a group of hunters along with a few heroes would have been fighting against a giant golem monster. Now, when Deku arrived at the scene, he was surprised to see Uraraka at the back of the party. Him seeing Uraraka shivering at the sight of the giant golem would have thought, even after a week, she still hasn't overcome it. That's expected, but I also... No, I have to overcome it. Deku, gripping down onto his broken sword hard, getting into a stance and continuing to think. The boss is around D rank. Compared to the boss I just fought, it's a rank lower. If I can weaken its defense, yes, I can do that. I just need a blow that can pierce through this stupid rock. With Deku being ready to throw the broken blade. However, just then, an explosion could be heard from Deku's right side. Deku stopping his attack to find out what's going on, as a familiar voice could be heard. It's saying, Hey, monster! Pick on someone your own size! With Bakugou literally exploding out of the crowd, he landed on the shoulder of that stone golem, with him firing wave after wave of explosions into the golem's face, with the hunters on the ground being confused as to who this kid is. They basically just stood there and watched Bakugou throwing explosions at the stone golem. However, just then, the leader of the team would have snapped out of it and yelled, Hey, what are all of you just standing there for? Help the kid! This helping the rest of the hunters to snap out of the confusion and go help Bakugou defeat this stone golem. However, this proved to be not very effective, with Deku thinking, Damn it, Kachan, just because you're strong doesn't mean that you can beat a monster, not to mention, that's the boss! Although quirks can be used on monsters, they're not very effective. That's why even though some hunters have quirks, they don't use it. Huh? Deku, seeing Bakugou being grabbed by the stone golem, he thought, Get your hands off Kachan, you stupid rock! Deku, without changing the original strength behind the throw, he threw the broken blade straight towards the monster's head. And at that same very moment, Bakugou got his right arm out of the stone golem's grip, him pointing his palm towards the golem's face as he would have fired an explosion, charged with one for all. More specifically, 100%. Now, in the onlooker's point of view, Bakugou was able to use a giant explosion to destroy the giant monster and/or the stone golem. But in Bakugou's perspective, right when he was about to throw his 100% explosion, he saw a broken blade go into the head of the stone golem and destroy it, meaning Bakugou actually threw his explosion at nothing. Well, he did hit the boss with his explosion, but the boss was already dead when he did it. Bakugou, knowing that he did not defeat the monster on his own, he would have been infuriated because of his old personality. Him looking around to try and find who threw that broken blade, to find that there is a hooded figure leaving the scene. However, just as he was about to go and find who that hooded figure is, he would have been stopped by the crowd and also the hunters, who are both there to scold and admire him. Wait, admire? No, I mean compliment, not admire. And while Bakugo is being surrounded by the crowd, some hunters, and maybe even some reporters, Uraraka, who was at the back of the battlefield healing everyone, would have found and/or came across the broken blade that Deku threw. Her realizing that this is the blade that she gave to Deku, she would have thought, Midoriya? Now, we'll go over to 3 days later. Deku continuing to finish his daily quests every single day. He has gotten, of course, stronger, a bit muscular, and also a bit taller, and by a bit, I mean like 10 cm. With that day being the day of Deku's discharge from the hospital, he left the hospital with a confused face because just as he was about to leave the hospital, a nurse came up to him asking for his number, which he asked why, and/or just for what reason, to which the nurse, after hearing that question, just turned around and left. Which is why Deku is confused, as when Deku got back home and/or got back to Mitsuki's home, on the way to his room, he greeted Mitsuki and asked where Bakugou is. To which Mitsuki, seeing that Deku is discharged, she hugged Deku and welcomed him back to her home, while ignoring Deku's question. But after talking for a bit and Deku asking the same question for like 2 times, Mitsuki answered Deku's question, saying that Bakugou is grounded and now is stuck in his room. Deku asking, what? Grounded? Why? With Mitsuki just turning on the TV to see that Bakugou's face is on the news, and saying that Bakugou has a very strong quirk and is able to defeat a boss with an explosion. Deku, realizing that he kind of indirectly caused Bakugou to be grounded, he went up to Bakugou's room to try and apologize. However, just as Deku knocked on the door to Bakugou's room, Bakugou would have opened the door and basically yanked Deku inside while closing the door behind him. Deku asking, Hey, Kachan, what are you doing? Shut it, Deku. You know exactly what I'm doing. So you're asking for answers? Yes. Then go ahead. First, were you there when I was fighting that stone monster? Be honest, Deku. Yes, I was. Were you wearing a hoodie back then? Yes, I was. Huh, so you are the one who threw that broken blade into the head of that monster. Yes, I was. Last question, Deku. How did you get so strong? What? Don't what me, Deku! You and I both know that you are weak before that accident in that dungeon. Even if you were in the hospital, you are still weak as a fly. So how did you get so strong in just a few days? Deku thinking, Should I tell him? If I told him, then would he get angrier at me? Since this system allows me to get stronger after every single battle, eventually I'll surpass him, and I'll even surpass All Might. But if I don't tell him, then... Wait. Deku saying, "Sure, I'll tell you my secret, but you have to tell me yours first." Bakugou being confused, saying, "What? What do you mean, Deku?" "The explosions you are using against that stone golem. They were a lot bigger and a lot stronger than usual. Even if I counted you training in UA and in secret, that still doesn't make sense why it is this strong. Along with that, your final explosion. That one was the strongest among all of them. So, Kachan, you tell me, how did you get so strong, along with your explosions?" What do I need to tell you? I'm the one that's asking questions here." "Well, since you don't answer my question, I won't answer yours." Deku saying that while walking towards the door, but just as he was about to open it and leave, he stopped, saying, "Hey, Kachan, one more question. Your personality, it changed. I don't know for what reason, but the way you changed it, it looked to me like you forced yourself to change it. So my last question is, why did you forcefully change your personality? If you answer my previous question along with this one, then I'll tell you my secret. Until then, no comment." Deku opening the door and leaving. Now, when Deku returned to his room, he would have been, well, searching the net for dungeons and their gates. Why? Because 1. That's his literal job. 2. He's bored. And 3. He wants to get stronger. As I believe that this will be a good place to end this part. If you guys want part 5 to What If Deku Had Solo Leveling, then help me reach 30 likes on this video. If it does, then I'll record and post part 5 to What If Deku Had Solo Leveling as fast as I can. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed and have a nice day.